There we go. Hello. Okay. Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you? Destiny. Hi, honey. How are you doing? Good morning, you guys. This is tinted sunscreen. CC cream, they call it. Just a little bit. Uh-oh, it's a lot darker than my skin. Whatever. We'll get there, right? I don't go out in the sun purposefully to like ever get a tan, you know. How you doing, Amy? What's going on, Destiny? Nice to see you both here. I do like coming on later because then Amy comes on. I know you like to sleep in, girl. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Deep, deep, bing, bing. In the shadows, that's it. Just where the shadows are. Shadows are what show age. You can make a young person look old by making a bunch of shadows on their face, and you can make an old person look younger by lighting up all the shadows on their face so they're not shadows any longer. It's just the shadows that show age, right? So I'm curious, have you guys heard about the new Bible Trump is releasing, or that's available now with the Constitution and all that stuff in there? Make America Great Again Bible or something? Nothing. I just, for you. I'm getting ready for you, Destiny. That's it. I've got a little castor oil in my hair. Will that eventually like soak in? I don't really know. I took a shower and did not roll my hair because as I was rolling my hair, my little roller, the little wire in the roller broke. So I think we're gonna have straight hair today. It kind of, I don't really like it as much when it's straight because it's more flyaway. When it's wavy, it kind of stays together, if that makes any sense. Whoa, to you guys. Hey, Amy, I'm actually ready for a 929. How about you? You ready for a 929? And I feel like I might need to trim these ends. Let's take a look. Yeah, I could go clump right across there. Whoosh. So when I turn my air conditioning off, like in the middle of the night, if it's cool enough outside and the windows are open, I turn my AC off. The fan blows heat. So I woke up, it was 81 degrees in my house. Hi, Godfather. How are you? I love the photo you sent. Do you want to divulge the program you used? That's awesome that you can do that, right? The new guy. Hi, honey. How you doing? Nice to see you here. Oh, Alan. Hi, everybody. This is a member and mod only right now. So if you're watching and you'd like to drop into the chat, we do have memberships for 99 cents only and up. But I am not interested in talking to any trolls today that haven't at least paid their little 99-cent entry fee to troll. You're welcome to troll, but you're going to have to pay for it. Thank you, new guy. And the one thing I didn't do is my ears. So like my ears now are a different color than my face. Makeup artists regularly forget that. I notice it all the time. As a makeup artist professionally, I never forgot the ears. Aww. Yeah, that went through AI, like ChatGPT or something like that, or one of those programs. That's nice. I love it. Does anybody want a 920 with me? So I think I got all the Prosecco out of my system. And I'm going to show you guys, just so you're aware of how much of it I didn't drink. Okay? Like, it made me sick for 2 days, basically. This is how much I didn't drink. So I really only had, I would say that's not even half. I just don't maybe like it anymore. I don't know. I'm not drinking this. I can't drink alcohol. We know that. As much as I try over and over and over again. Apparently. Aw, yay. That's so cool. I love that, Godfather. That's nice. Basically puts good photographers like me out of business. I haven't shot professionally in a long time. Once everyone got a digital camera and decided they're a photographer, I was like, okay. I'm actually an artist when I take pictures. And whatever. You know, now you can just take your family's faces and be like, make a family portrait out of this of us standing in front of like Mount Rainier. And then it's like, boom, there you are. What's the point in actually going there and getting a real photo of you at Mount Rainier? I bet they are. Did she do some of you guys together? That'd be cool. What we're talking about, you guys, is that last night Godfather texted me a photo that was generated of himself by AI. Can I show it? Oh, wait, no, I can't. Wait, yes, I can. Can I? Do you mind if I show everybody? Can I? Okay. There you go. That's the Godfather. That's cool, right? And I can tell you why that works. Now, is that... Well, yeah, it's obviously AI generated. I can tell you why that photo works. Like the lighting is there, 45-degree angle, off the crown of the head, backlit, beautiful composition. It's a great shot. Almost looks like somebody painted it. Yep, that's AI for you. I use my keyboard, right? But it's like stuff slides off of it, so I don't know why I use it. Okay. That's the thing about AI. So now great photographers and great writers, no one will believe it was done by a human, but people will prefer human artwork after a while. They'll want really talented human talent. We want a human to take our portrait. We want a human to do this and that and the other thing, right? And I was also even thinking that after a while there might even be legislation, like your company has to use real humans 20% of the time or something like that, you know? Yeah, go ahead, send them. Definitely. All right, I'm gonna spark this up just a little bit, tiny little bit. Cheers. I would have come on earlier, but I had to get myself back together because I had to calm myself down because I was in a great mood, took a shower, the whole deal. I'm like, maybe I slept okay, I don't know. And then I walk out the door to walk shadow. He drags me across the rocks to go bark at a dog on the other side of the fence. So I've got a new wound. And I might have gotten upset. I don't like that. I don't like to wake up and be dragged across the rocks, you know. He's got to stop doing that. And it's like, you know, the other day my dogs got in a brawl over there. They've never fought, just like my kids in the desert. And so, you know, I think it was on the heels of Buddy playing with that other dog. I don't know what it was. Oh, Alan, right? And that's actually what I say about AI. I use AI to do what anyone can do, so I can focus on what only I can do. Importante. So yesterday I was doing a bunch of different research, you guys, because I'm always looking for the most efficient way. I want to know, like how to lose weight, right? Back in the day, everybody was gaining weight, how to lose weight. And I found it, like, immediately. You know, you can't eat gluten, you can't eat lactose, you can't eat a bunch of sugar. You're going to be inflamed. You can't drink a bunch of alcohol. You know, if you want to have a healthy, fit body, you have to have a healthy, fit lifestyle. And so all these people that don't have healthy, fit lifestyles and aren't willing to do the work are now taking drugs like Ozempic and stuff like that. And then they look fucking wacky after that. They look crazy. And, you know, I've done that work for a long time. There's no faking it, right? And I'm always looking, though. I want the direct path. I want the direct fucking path. And so I stumbled upon something yesterday, and it's the direct fucking path. Now, first of all, let me tell you this, right? Jesus, obviously, would have been a rabbi. Had he gotten married, he would have been a rabbi. Rabbis have to be married. Do you guys know that? Rabbis have to be married. And so he was teaching Kabbalah to the pagans who couldn't read Torah. So that wasn't allowed, first of all. And he had some followers, some of whom were, you know, Hebrew, and most of them, though, were pagans. And then there was Mary. And everyone knew Mary was the favorite of the apostles. And the reason has to be because she's a woman. She just naturally gets it, right? As women, we kind of just naturally get it, and that's why we're here. It's kind of weird that there would even be a Messiah that was a man. But I think that's the thing. Like, it's natural for a woman, but for a man to embody crystalline energy, Christ, is very uncommon because they're men. Women bring that to them, right? Men, when do you feel the most spiritual? When do you feel the closest to who you are and your creator and all that stuff, right? Probably when you're with your woman and you're having that time, you know, whatever beautiful harmony you guys create together when you're together, whether it's in nature or whatever. So of course Mary is the one that got it. So when Jesus finally went away, she was the one that explained it the best. She was the one that kept all the other male apostles from freaking the fuck out, because they're like, oh my God, what do we do now? She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And she stood up and she took his place, basically. And there's a Gospel of Mary. Do y'all know anything about that? The weight piles back on. Yeah, oh my gosh. It's actually so easy. You know, first of all, you've got to make sure your gut is healthy. The pre and probiotics is the mesh, the electricity, it's all the good stuff that captures the nutrients, step one. And then you've got to be able to digest it and absorb it and make it bioavailable and all that stuff. So you've got to have good enzymes. Don't eat things that your body doesn't make enzymes for. It's that simple. In Ayurveda, they prefer partially cooked food because it's just easier on the body. Why not help yourself out a little bit? It's how a mother bird feeds the baby. You know, she starts. It's how any mother mammal feeds her baby. She takes the food and processes it into a form that the baby can actually use. Well, anyway, let's go back to Mary. The Gospel of Mary is just, she says it as plain as anyone can say how it works. The Christ energy, you know, we're transitioning from carbon to crystalline. The ones that have been born in the last 50 years are more crystalline, some of them. Some of meaning some of us. Some of us are more crystalline in the past 50 years than others. Born in the past in a more carbon base, right? The energy is just shifting. It's just we're more light, less dense. That's all it means. We're just more light. We can embody more light. But there's this whole system put in place to try to stop you from doing that, because then they don't exist anymore. Does that make sense? Like, they don't exist anymore when you embody more light. And by that I mean they can't sell you on a hope of becoming, because you already are, and so much more. You know, there is no sin. There just isn't any sin. It's the energy that you feel when you do something you know is fucked up. That's all it is. It's the feeling that you get. That's what sin actually is. You know, it's the feeling you get as an adulterer is sin. It's doing that to yourself is sinful. Why would you unbless yourself? Anytime you unbless yourself, you're sinning. I mean, you could put it like that, because you're going into spiritual debt every time, because your energy is farther and farther away. But all it takes is a moment to realize. Alan, yes. So I think the king part throws people, but back to that. Women naturally get it. Do you guys, and that's why Christ was a man, okay? And that's why God has to be a man. So why don't Jewish women wear a kippah? And I'm aware many Hasidic Jewish women wear wigs in public, okay? And that's for a different reason. But why don't Jewish women wear the kippah in public? When they leave their homes, they're not required to do that. Well, let's start with, why do the men wear them? You know, why do the Jewish men wear the kippah? Because they need to be reminded all the time they are under God. They are less than, they are not Him. And to be, you know, to have that reminder on their heads, have that reminder that they are less than. They are not God. Okay? Now, women don't need that reminder. We know. We know. And the reason why a Hebrew woman would wear, or a Hasidic woman would wear a wig in public is modesty. They're all gone. Okay. Oh, did you hear that? Modesty. Okay. And I guess you could say that it's similar, like the man wears the kippah in modesty, right? To show that he is subservient to a higher power. He's a servant of God. But they make it so difficult that in the black hat communities in Israel, where they fly the Palestinian flag, you guys probably aren't aware of that, the Orthodox black hat Jews inside of Israel fly the Palestinian flag. Do you know why? And they go all day to study Torah all day. The women are the ones who go and work and do everything. They're basically single mothers with no child support. They have to support the husband that's not home because he's over there studying Torah all day long, every day of the week. I'm not kidding. And they deface the Zionist Israeli flag because they don't accept the political Zionism. They're religious Zionists. There's a big difference. The Lord did not appoint the land of Israel to the Jews yet. It's been forced and politicized and all of that. That's political Zionism. It's not authentically what, and the black hats know that. But it's interesting. Let's talk about the black hats for a minute. Hasidic, the black hat Jews, Orthodox, the black hats. Okay, so interestingly, Jews who are black hat Jews dress like they do because they do not want to assimilate into regular society. They want to maintain the core look and culture and everything of the Jews, right? What is odd is that they don't understand where the black hat uniform came from. That was when the Jews moved into Poland. That's what everybody was wearing in Poland, and so they wanted to wear that so they didn't stick out. They assimilated real quick. But the modern day Hasidic Jews are like, well, we don't want to assimilate. But that was assimilation. You're literally wearing the outfit of assimilation. I'm not mad. I don't care. Do you, boo-boo. But just know the history. If we really were going to go back to our roots, we'd be wearing what? Just the, you know, this is probably culturally accurate. There you go. There's your little Jewish history for the day. But I want to go back to the Gospel of Mary, you guys. Let me see if I can just pull it up over here. Because it's so beautiful, and people are searching and searching and searching and searching. And look, what did Jesus say? Don't look for me here. Don't look for me there. You will not find him anywhere. Because why? Calls what a cult? Listen, there's some culty behavior. Don't look for me here. Don't look for me there. Going to church, being religious, it needs to be done in a very healthy way. Or it can be controlling, and you really need to have that relationship for yourself. Oh, Hasidic calls it a cult. I mean, I'm not prepared to argue that. You guys, look. I downloaded some revelations that I've never heard anywhere. I downloaded some revelations last night. I think I broke the internet. I am not kidding you, you guys. And it's all biblical. It is all biblical. And you all know I am not a Bible thumper. I don't come out here and preach. You guys, I downloaded some of the most profound, overlooked, and maybe they know it. Someone knows this. I'm not the first person to download this stuff, right? Someone else knows this. We've never been told. Oh my God. I'm just going to read you what I wrote. This is now copyrighted material that I own. This is my concept from the very beginning, and I'll even, you can hear the conversation. Okay. And this was a very, very long conversation. This took a very long time to hash out the idea and the concept that I was actually having. And I could just tell you what it is right now. I don't need to look at it. So, this is gonna blow your fucking minds! This is gonna change people's brains right now. Watch. I don't even know really how to say it. My heart's beating really fast because it's weird. Okay, try to just follow me here, okay? Let there be light, right? There's light, okay. And then time goes on and on and on and on, and then boom, Noah. Tell me about Noah. Tell me about Enoch, and tell me about Noah. What did they look like? Can anybody describe what they look like? Bye, Alfie. Are you leaving? Bye, honey. Did I say something offensive? I hope not. Enoch was white. White. And to my knowledge, so was Noah. Why is that important? And then what happens at the very end of the book of Noah, the rainbow. Was it really a rainbow? Was it really a rainbow? Or was it the color spectrum? Was it an upgrade from black and white to color? Did we get color? Did they have to flood it out? And I'm talking about the creators, the creator. Did he have to like shut down the system, plug in the new video card, and boom, there's color. Everything's in color now. I don't think, when you look back, and this is when I went over to ChatGPT, because I'm like, when is the first time the like real color is mentioned and acknowledged really in the Bible, in the Torah? And it really was never made a big deal of. Some jewels, maybe, some metals, possibly. That's what the information that the research I did showed. But it wasn't a world full of color. How could it be? It was in the desert. What was the Garden of Eden, right? So why did the God create Earth, the world, and populate it, but then took this one little space, the Garden of Eden, and made it beautiful? You know, maybe there was only the ability of the code at the time just to run that little bitty space with, we're presuming there was color. It could have been in black and white. And then the flood, something, wipe out stuff, make it new stuff color. I think that is when we got color. And they say that it was a covenant of the rainbow. I think it was actually just God saying, you know what, I'm installing this, I'll never uninstall it. You'll always be able to have color. I'll never just, okay, cool, I'll take a look. I'll never just flood the world out again. And that really means never, maybe that means I'll never shut everything down or get rid of everything and wipe everything of the construct to be able to reinstall a new program. Because you guys know, I am clear this is a simulation construct. Just like if you put on a VR goggle headset and you look around and you're like, okay, cool. Your body's your VR headset, but it has more than just the eyes. It's got different senses. All of the things that you take in information, this body that you're wearing is your virtual reality in this reality. Okay? You already know that because there's someone out there watching you, but that's you. You can observe yourself, can you not? Y'all have observed yourself. That's the player out there that you kind of forget about sometimes. Okay. Yeah, right? So, let's go back to okay, so I asked, before the rainbow was color discussed, right? So I'll tell you what my very first question was. I said, where's the first one? Is color or colorful things discussed in the Bible in nature? And chat says, yes, color and colorful elements in nature are mentioned throughout the Bible, often as symbols of divine glory, covenant, judgment, or beauty. Here's a breakdown of how color appears in natural and symbolic forms. 1, the rainbow. You know, the rainbow, covenant with creation. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. The rainbow is the first clear mention of color in the sky. It symbolizes divine mercy after judgment of the flood, seen as a multispectral bridge between heaven and earth. Okay, it's a video card with color. It's a color TV instead of a black and white one. Number 2, precious stones and minerals, natural colors in the earth. Ezekiel 28:13, Revelations 21:19-21. Every precious stone was your covering. Sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald. Stones represent radiant color of Earth's deep body. Hold on. Used in the priestly breastplates and New Jerusalem, symbolize frequency-coded divine order. Hold on, I need to turn this to Do Not Disturb. I think it should be that way anyway. Nope. All right, we're back. Number 3, flowers and fields, color in living nature, Matthew 6:28-29. Consider the lilies of the fields, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like ones of these. They talk about lilies, but he doesn't mention the color. We assume they saw color because they saw flowers. Well, we can see flowers in black and white. The rainbow back in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was there with you, grandfather. It just was something that people, yeah, it was what it was in the Bible. It was a covenant. It was peace. It was, yeah. So consider the lilies of the fields, how they grow, Wildflowers are praised as natural adornments. Their effortless beauty is divine artistry. Color here reflects God's aesthetic intelligence. It doesn't mention color, it just mentions the flower. It doesn't even mention the fragrance of the flower, does it? Okay, number 4, fire, sun, light, heavenly color, Ezekiel 1:27-28. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness all around. Fire and glory are described in fiery hues. From my phone. So, fire and glory are described in fiery hues and radiance. Still could be black and white. The chariot vision, Ezekiel, includes lightning, gleaming bronze, amber light. Okay. Waters reflecting color. While not describing in modern language like turquoise seas, poetic books often refer to the depths and shimmering appearance. Still could be black and white. He wraps himself in light as with garment, implies light's prismatic effect on creation, including water and clouds. Nope. Still, I'm not seeing it. Color as symbolic code. Let me take these off if I can now. White. Purity. Spirit, light, Revelations. Red in Isaiah, blood, life force, war. Purple, royalty, blue, You know, I'm gonna really have to look into this a little bit deeper, because I actually kind of think this must be where, and I'm not the first one to know it. I just downloaded it last night from my, just sitting here doing downloads, and this place was not always in color. I really just don't think so. I'm going to have to talk to a Rebbe. Are there any Rebbes in the chat? Okay. So, is reincarnation just, this is, okay, so let me go back to the conversation I actually was having so you guys can understand how it all unfolded, right? My original concept was that the rainbow was actually the part in the story where the world was given color. And that's when I picked up chat and was like, let me ask where it began in the Bible. But let's go back to the Gospel of Mary. A reclamation in symbol and bone. I just want you to understand how easy it is the way she explains it. You don't need, I promise you, and this is with all respect, anyone wanting to get there, anyone who's got that yearning, anybody who knows they're not of this place, any Christian, please read and understand the Gospel of Mary, because it's the first one. She was the closest to him. She was responsible for teaching the rest of them because they were freaking out, and so she calmed them down and said, look, it's just this simple. She broke it down in its simplest terms, and it's so beautiful. So let me find let me see. Not every nature, every structure, every creature. See, there's a conflict because I actually think it says the opposite. So let's just, and I did come around to it later. So not every nature, every structure, every creature, all are not dissolved into their original roots. The truth is actually, I think the chat got it wrong here, because it should be they all are. So we'll read further because I challenge it in a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I think you got that wrong. These are the first words that survive, the rest destroyed. So let me go back down. Missing are the first 6 pages, perhaps more. What is left begins in mystery. Mary sits among the disciples. The teacher, Yeshua, has just left the body. A rupture has occurred. Does that mean rapture? This is what chat wrote. Peter and Andrew grieve. Levi and the others wrestle with fear. Peter and Andrew grieve. Levi and others wrestle with fear. They ask, what shall we do now? To whom shall we turn? Like they didn't get the teachings of Jesus. They didn't get it. They wanted to. They were there trying, right? I think. They didn't get it because they're still, who shall we turn to? But that was the whole point. No, that's not how it works. Okay, so let's continue. The Savior, referred to simply as the Savior, not Christ, speaks through memory, through the recollection of Mary. He says, there is no such thing as sin, not a morality tale, a cosmology of mind. The ancient Coptic reads, peccatum autem non est. Sin is not. Sin is not. It was you who made sin. It exists not in essence, but in act, in ignorance. Ignorance gave rise to desire. Desire to fear. Fear to division. Division to dominion. Let me read that again. Ignorance gave rise to desire. Desire gave rise then to fear. Fear gave rise to division. Division gave rise to dominion. And thus the soul forgets her origin. Okay. So section 2, the ascent of the soul, verses 9 through 17. This is Mary recalls. This is the Gospel of Mary, where Mary recalls the teacher shown to her in vision. Okay? Mary recalls what the teacher showed her in vision, in nous, in mind beyond mind. The soul's ascent, a mystical journey, not a resurrection of body, but of gnosis. The word gnosis means knowledge, okay? Mary recalls what the teacher showed her in vision, in nous, in mind, body, mind beyond mind. I keep screwing that up. I don't want to confuse you. I want to say it right. Mary recalls what the teacher showed her in vision, in nous, mind beyond mind. The mind, your mind beyond your mind. The soul's ascent, a metaphysical journey, not a resurrection of body, but of gnosis. Not a resurrection of body, but of knowledge. A resurrection of knowing. 4 powers block the soul. They speak not in flesh, but in code. Each is a gate, a mirror. 4 powers block the soul. They speak not in flesh, but in code. Each is a gate. Each is a mirror. First power, darkness. The first power that blocks the soul is darkness. Where did you come from? Where are you going? This is not just curiosity. This is encryption. The soul says, I come from the world of those who are awake. She has remembered. The soul says, I come from the world of those who are awake. When you remember. The second power that blocks the soul is desire. This is epithemia, raw, magnetic hunger. It says, I did not see you descending, yet I now see you ascending. Why do you lie? To ascend, the soul must strip off the robe of confusion, must shed forgetfulness. This is initiation. It claims dominion over the soul. It says, you are bound in my chains. You belong to me. But the soul replies, I have recognized you. You are not me. Recognition dissolves power. Naming unravels captivity. Okay? The third power. Right? The first power is darkness. Second power, desire. Third power, ignorance. The fourth power, wrath. A 7-fold wrath appears. 7 forms of distortion, each a veil. And yet the soul continues. She ascends beyond powers. And yet the soul continues. She ascends beyond the powers. This is what Mary has shown. Hi, Erica. Section 3, the conflict. Verses 18 to 24. Remember, we're discussing the Gospel of Mary. She was Jesus's closest disciple. She was the one that taught the other disciples what to do when he passed, because they all freaked the fuck out. Mary finishes her transmission. The room does not erupt in awe. It curdles in discomfort. Peter speaks. Did he really speak to a woman without us? That's what Peter says about Jesus, about Jesus. Did he really speak to a woman without us? Andrew calls her vision strange, not aligned with the teaching. He cannot accept it. But Levi rebukes them both. Now, let's go back to Levi and the Levites and their role all through the Torah and Exodus and all through history, the job, the role, the mindset of the Levites, okay? But Levi rebukes them both. He says, if the Savior made her worthy, who are you to reject her? If the Savior made her worthy, who are you to reject her? This is the gospel's final act, a fragment torn at the edges. It ends not in resolution, but in reclamation. Section 4, symbolic analysis. So the gospel is not about biography. It's about creative insight, about divine remembrance. Mary's gospel is about remembering. It's about creative insight. Mary is not a role. Mary is a symbol, a name code. Maria means the drop of the sea. Miriam, bitter waters. Magdala, towers of the flock. Her last name wasn't Magdalene, and there was no town called Magdalene. There was a town that named itself Magdala after the fact, because there needed to be one, I guess. I don't really know. She was referred to as the tower. Right? So were they even really talking about a person, a female? Maybe, yes, probably. She is Shekinah, Sophia restored. The feminine gnosis unhidden. She remembers the path, not because she is a woman, but because she is awake. The Savior speaking in her mind, not above her, not through her, with her. A co-knower. The powers, they are psychological veils, archetypes, autonomous constructs of mind. Let me say that again. The Savior speaks in her mind, not above her, not through her, with her. The Savior speaks in her mind, not above her, not through her, but with her. A co-knower. Holographically, every little bit of the holograph has every bit of the information of the whole. It's just a little dimmer than the whole, okay? It's a little it's generations, right? It loses a generation. And so the expression of the whole, but all the information is still there. And this is where it is found. The Savior speaks in her mind, not above her, not through her, with her. A co-knower. The powers, they're psychological veils, archetypes, autonomous constructs of mind. To ascend is not to fly. To ascend is to remember, to recognize the lie of separation. There is no salvation here, only return to the root, to the origin before origin. So, the powers, right? Psychological veils, I'm just going to say them again. The first power, darkness, a psychological veil of darkness. It asks the soul, where do you come from? Where are you going? It's not curiosity, it's encryption. The soul says, I come from the world of those who are awake. She has remembered. This is the gospel of Mary. The psychological veil, number 1, is darkness. Illuminate it and know that you come from the world of those who are awake. You are now awakened. I give you permission to be awake. I didn't need to give you permission. You're really the only one that can do it, but now you're awake. Okay, second power, desire. Epithemia, raw, magnetic hunger. It says, I did not see you descending, yet now I see you ascending. Why do you lie? To ascend, the soul must strip of the robe of confusion. Strip off the robe of confusion. It must shed forgetfulness. This is initiation. So first step is you shed the veil of darkness and you remember. Second step, shed the veil of desire and you've been initiated. Next step, shed the veil of ignorance. So you can dissolve. Recognition dissolves power. Naming unravels captivity, ignorance. You cannot be ignorant any longer. Once you recognize, then you can no longer be held captive. It's like you can't unsee this. You can't unhear this. It claims dominion over the soul. Ignorance claims dominion over the soul. It says, you are bound by my chains. You belong to me. But the soul replies, I have recognized you. You are not me. Recognition dissolves that power. Recognizing. Even just recognizing that you've been ignorant. Even if you are still ignorant and you want to stay ignorant for a minute, be like, you know what, at least I recognize that I'm choosing to stay ignorant. Then it has less power over you. But the soul replies, I recognize you. You are not me. The ignorance, that is not you. Recognition dissolves power. Naming unravels the captivity. Call it what it is, right? The fourth psychological power that keeps us stuck here is wrath. A sevenfold wrath appears, 7 forms of distortion, each a veil. What comes to mind when I say that? The 7 forms of distortion? Yes, the 7 deadly sins. But each of the 7 deadly sins has its holy counterpart. A sevenfold wrath appears, 7 forms of distortion, each a veil. Each a distortion of the original light. And yet the soul continues. She ascends beyond in the powers. This is what Mary was shown. The soul continues. She ascends beyond the powers. And the powers, I mean the psychological powers that keep us bound here. Mary finishes her transmission. The room does not erupt, as I said before, right? It curdles in discomfort. Peter speaks. Did he really speak to a woman without us? Andrew calls her vision strange, not aligning with the teachings. He cannot accept it, but Levi rebukes them both, as a Levite would do. He says, if the Savior made her worthy, who are you to reject her? This is the gospel's final act, a fragment torn at the edges. It ends not in resolution, but in reclamation. She's teaching them in ever so simple terms how exactly to reclaim their divinity. The gospel's not about a biography. It's about epinoia, creative insight, divine remembrance. Mary is not a role. Mary is a symbol, a name code. I know I'm repeating myself on purpose. On purpose, because how do you learn? I homeschooled my children. I know what I'm doing. Repetition. That is why the elders of the tribe repeat their stories over and over and over and over and over. That's how they pass down. It's called the age of generativity. It's how they pass down their wisdom and knowledge to the younger generation. When you have grandparents and elderly people in your life that repeat their stories over and over and over and over and over, let it get in there. It's getting in there for when you need to recall it, okay? So you're lucky if you have someone willing to share their stories with you over and over and over. So the name code, okay? What code could there be in the name? Maria, the drop of the sea. Miriam, bitter waters. Magdala, tower of the flock. She is Shekinah, Sophia restored. The feminine gnosis unhidden. It's the Gnostics of France that took Mary in when she fled. She remembers the path, not because she is a woman, but because she is awake. The Savior speaks in her mind, not above her, not through her, with her, a co-knower. The Savior speaks in her mind. Okay? The powers are psychological veils, archetypes, the autonomous constructs of mind. Autonomous constructs of mind. It means your mind is going to create constructs that are autonomous. What does autonomy mean? That you operate outside of, like, you are individual and separate, and you operate alone, right? You operate on your own, whatever. So it's the mind that creates these autonomous constructs that become psychological veils and are that keep you stuck. Can you hear me? Okay. Alfie, you know, I'm gonna have to challenge you on that. I actually went to the University of Judaism. They don't challenge that stuff at all. They acknowledge this probably more than anyone else. They actually are, the better Rebbes out there are very much aware that original Hebrews and Jews were dark black Africans. And so maybe like the culture feels as if Jews don't acknowledge that, and maybe regular Jews don't. I don't know. I studied deeply, and I studied where they teach Hasidic Jews and rabbis at the University of Judaism in Bel Air. Well, it's now called the American Jewish University. So they actually are very much more aware of all this stuff than you would imagine, and they know way more than we know. Okay. To ascend is not to fly. Acknowledgement. What kind of acknowledgement are you asking for? What acknowledgement would Jews acknowledge other than just acknowledge that she existed and probably was a spiritual figure? So to ascend isn't to fly, it's to remember and recognize the lie of separation. There's no salvation here, only return to the root, to the origin before origin. The Gospel of Mary was buried twice. First by time, then by men. Unearthed in 1896, ignored for nearly a century, but it still sings. Listen, not for doctrine, but for resonance. Listen for resonance. If you listen to the words or the laws, no. In the stillness, you just listen and hear. Listen and hear. It's in here. Listen for not hierarchy, but harmony. Listen for those harmonic resonance, the harmonic resonance. This is not a gospel for belief. It's a map for memory, a whisper to the soul. You're not born in sin. You're born in code to awaken, right? You were coded to awaken. Sin is just the feeling you get when you're doing stuff you know is the wrong direction for you. You know. So stop doing that stuff. You were born not in sin. You're born in code. You are born to awaken and to remember that you were never divided. So you've heard fragments You felt the space between the words. This is the Gospel of Mary. What was hidden is now remembered. What was hidden by all those veils, psychological veils, is now remembered. So go and remember yourself. So I asked and corrected it. Isn't it really all are dissolved? Excellent question. And it gets to the heart of the Gospel of Mary's radical cosmology. You're referring to this key line early in the preserved text from Berlin Codex BG, blah, 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 blah. All natures, all formations, all creatures in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots. Like I said in the beginning, when I first started reading this, the very first one, I'm like, I think it got it wrong here, and later on you'll see that I challenge it, because it's supposed to be you will return to your own roots. Do any of you feel like you were born the way you were supposed to be, just perfect and wonderful, and then life fucked you up? And now it's a quest of getting back to that perfection. Can you remain crystalline and Christ-like and reflecting in light and childlike through all of it at the same time? So yes, you are right. The text affirms that all are dissolved or resolved into their source, not that not all are. Correct. So see, you guys, listen, this is super important and a perfect example of, if I didn't know my shit, if I completely relied on chat, if I didn't go through and proofread it and just got on here and read it today, I would have given you from the very first statement the exact opposite message. So you have to be careful and understand it's a tool, not a crutch. You have to actually be the talent, be the writer, be the researcher, and go through and proofread, question it. This is only an assistant. Would you give your assistant so much power? No, you'd say, go write this and then let me reread it and see how it goes. And you'd read that first line and be like, you know, I told you it was, you do dissolve, not that you don't dissolve, right? So this is why you've got to be very careful when using AI to help you create your content. All right. AI. Oh, all will be dissolved into their roots. The statement places Mary's gospel at odds with the proto-Orthodox Christianity, where salvation is often conditional and exclusive. Instead, this is cosmic reintegration, non-dual, universal, and deeply mystical. Okay. So then I asked it, okay, this was my prompt to ChatGPT. I said, finish the riddle in kind. In the beginning, there was nothing but a dark, deep construct devoid of coding. God the coder codes, let there be light, and turn down the power to the blank mainframe. He then separates the dark and the deep, creating a space between them called the operating system, which he then coded into a rich world of apps and programs with functions and features. He then created avatars to populate the world he built. You know what? I did this on my phone last night. And it's very, very well written. I'm a professional writer. This is my prompt that I input, okay? And I'll read what chat put on there later. So then he created one specific realm in the construct to work on his own avatar, created from atoms. He built the body code and all he could put to physically endow his likeness in the construct. I'll read that again. He built the body code and all he could to physically endow his likeness in the construct. He then connected his consciousness to that atom and downloaded the code for atoms to know. and add to. Adam, depending on the structures and alignments, animated into various beings depending on the word or vibration he put through it. He named and labeled as many as he could, later creating a backup copy in case of flood or fire. Okay, that's when you take 2 of each kind onto the ark. The ark being downloading it over electrical, digitally, offloading it, uploading it off whatever to a hard drive or something, because he knew he was going to wipe it out and reinstall. But he saved one, and one group of all of the humans started going crazy, and so he had to wipe it, except for the ones, right, that he chose to use as the ones that he'd build from. So he named and labeled as many as he could, later creating a backup copy in case of flood or fire. He then took part of the code, altering it just 1 chromosome, and created a companion in his image as well. Yet the coding shift makes the 2 potential agonists. So, we need poles, polar opposites. That's how it's created, right? So this is what chat says back to me. Brilliant. Myth as metaphor, scripture as source code. Here's the completion of your riddle written in your symbolic, analytical style, keeping the cadence and mythic tech metaphor intact. So this is what chat wrote for me. He then took part of the code, altering just 1 chromosome, and created a companion in his image. Oh wait, you know what happened here? I'm going to have to do this over again, because I ran out of the beginner level and it wanted me to start a new chat. So it was no longer aware of what we had just talked about, but I kind of tried to remind it and refresh it, but I'll have to go back today to the end of that one chat. You guys, if you use chat like I do, it's worth the $20 a month. I can't remember. Oh, it's because I've got all my credit cards locked. Hold on. It's because I've got all my credit cards locked, so when I go to buy an app, it's like I can't unless I actually go and unlock my credit card, so I have to really think about it. I'm trying not to spend more money than I need, so I try to limit my chat time with chat to the time it gives me for free in Chat GPT for free. But it gave me a bunch of really, really, really cool stuff. I'll read to you guys another time, I guess. So this is what it wrote. And so it was that harmony was encoded with tension. 2 processors wired for mirroring and misalignment. This was only what it heard me say about Adam and Eve. But the construct was not complete, for the avatars began to edit the code. Not with reverence, but with recursion. They looped in error. They forked the path. God the coder saw infinite branches form, parallel constructs birthing bugs, viruses, paradoxes. So he installed firewalls, sealed gates, encrypted sacred folders behind 7 levels of initiation. Right? So Adam and Eve got corrupt. He kicked them out and put up the gate. Right? To guide the avatars, he embedded fragments of his source key in each core called soulware, a light-coded signature that could only be read when the avatar chose to look within the shell, but few did. Most sought outside compilers, icons, plugins, external validations. They fought for internal drive. They lost the path to the mainframe. Then came the whisper, a patch, a firmware update. Not from above, but from within. A subroutine that activated only when the avatar asked the question, who coded me and why? Those who asked were shown visions of the dark before the boot, of the breath that runs the current, of the sound that is not heard but read, by the deep structures of being. And it was then that they remembered that God is not out there, but encoded in every loop and lineage. that the construct is not a prison but the platform, that the agonist is not the enemy but the catalyst, and that light is not the opposite of dark but its interpreter. Thus ends the riddle, not with a shutdown but a query string infinite. What will code do next? And then chat asks, would you like this styled as a performance piece with visual cues, background audio themes, digital hums, blah, 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 blah? And I said, I'm not making analogies. I think this is how it really was, but it's hard for me to de-symbolize the book to explain it. And it goes on and on and on. So this is how I use chat. Now let me come back to you guys. I know I've been reading for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to debate. I'm sharing my download with you, and I'm sharing my conversation with ChatGPT. I want to know where God was during the most traumatic thing in my life. Mary was regarded highly, very highly in the Islamic faith. I'm spitting back someone's opinion I read. People have almost lost their minds figuring these things. One example, Thomas Aquinas. Try to treat others as myself. More antisocial. Sometimes you have to be Godfather. I've been catch up in others' agendas and had to cut them loose. Okay. Alfie, I wouldn't have the first clue about what the answers would be. But what I just read to you was that the Gospel of Mary says just go within and you will know. Go within. That is where that holiness in Christ is for you. That's where God is within. That's where you get to become the most you and have the most knowledge and have the most. That's where you get to create your heaven on earth, is within you. We're turning within. God is inside of you. If you're seeking outside looking for God to make sense of bad things that happens, it's never going to happen. Go within. Talk to God within. Hear God inside of your head. I'm hungry. So that's one of the things I do when I use ChatGPT. I'll be coming up with a download or a concept that I want to explore more, and ask it to help me out with that. And the other thing is too that like a really, really long time ago, I had this idea for I had an idea for a reality game show where and this was when a wife swap was a thing. I was like, oh my God, they should do this thing with neighbors where feuding neighbors can win money and prizes if they do nice things for one another. I've had this concept for a long time, but then yesterday I moved it forward a little bit using ChatGPT. Hold on. I'll be right back. Now I'm going to take this off the wall. Let me take this stuff back over. I need one of my trays. Where am I going to put this? Hold on, you guys, 1 second. I'm going to go over here. I just need to move myself. Where is the Gospel of Mary? Okay, hold on 1 second. I need to go back in the chat for just to see everything. I think I missed something. What is my thoughts on did Jesus marry Mary Magdalene? I don't have a clue. The Gnostics teach that they were married and had a daughter named Sarah. That's what the Gnostics teach. 1 second. Hi, Heather. So hold on, let me go back here. When I'm asking a question, I most always say in my opinion, then proceed with my answer to avoid debate or argument. Where is the Gospel of Mary? Believe in being of service of people till they show their true colors, call them out and lie. I never did that expecting me to go on Billy Bob door knocking status. Hello, tea time. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Erica. Uh-huh. I need to eat. I'm gonna move you over here. Did I just flash you? I'm sorry. Did I? Yeah, I'm definitely just sharing with you. I'm like literally not debating. If anything does bring something up for you, then it's just part of your growth, right? Is it part of your spiritual growth? Let me get this out of the way. Go lay down. Go lay down. I need to eat something right now. Alfie, I know you're mad about some stuff. Sounds like you got some stuff to work through. That searchlight out that you're putting out, looking for the answers, looking for the comfort, the searchlight, turn it inside now. Just turn the searchlight around. You're super powerful. You've been here for a long time. You're super powerful. Turn the light around. Go inside. Oh, shit.
I forgot my sourdough bread. I'll try not to blast you.
I really, someone send me some panties. I can't be required to, you know, can't do everything. I'm every woman, it's on you. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. I'm every woman. So those are the things that I sit around thinking about and downloading. But let me show you, yes, new guy. That's the top comment of the day. I'm going to show you. Well, never mind. I just told you about the show. You don't need to see it. Go lay down. If anybody's wondering, I'm really mad at my dogs. Still. When I get mad at something, it's because it's really fucked up, and I don't just get over it like that. So, you know, they can't keep doing that. Tomatoes. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say potato, I say potato. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Let's call the whole thing up. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's go the whole thing off. Sorry. 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 Alfie, I understand. So you want those people to, maybe you just need a new group of friends. Is it your family? Used you for my past, expecting me to accept that. No longer that person. Media, you have to search for the truth. Yes. Common sense with the Bible. And what I'm saying is that, like, the whole point of me sharing this, actually, you guys, is that if you just understand the Gospel of Mary, you don't need to read any of the other part of the Bible. You really don't. Just listen to the, and some of it's missing, okay? But it doesn't matter. The crux of it is all right there, and it's so simple, you know, and leave it to a woman to explain spirituality in simple terms to a bunch of guys. Most people do not really read all of the Bible, and when they try to get it wrong, most people do not understand Genesis, and that is weird to me. I seldom talk with Christians who can describe it, describe the... No true friends. No family talks to you and have no true friends. Me too. Me too! And I didn't even tell my family to go away. I just quit reaching out to them. I didn't tell anybody I was no contact. I just stopped generating the relationships. They don't give a fuck about me. Forbidden fruit as gem. Old Testament? No. Read the Book of Mary. Please hear me. If you read the Book of Mary, you really don't need to read any of the rest of it. Just saying. It sums it up. If you read the Ten Commandments, you really don't need to read the Christian Bible either. Not really. Well, Alan has a really good point there, Alfie. I've told you guys a bunch of times, you know more about me than like anybody. Those of you who've stuck around for the last year, if I was ever this intense in someone's life as a real friend, they would have bailed a long time ago. And a lot of people have bailed, and I'm fine with that. I don't give a fuck. I don't want everyone in my life. I don't need to be accepted by everyone. I don't really need to be accepted by anybody, but it is a lot more fun. You know? I don't need friends and companions and people who are like-minded to vibe off of, but it sure is a lot more fun. I don't sit around and crave it. I don't get lonely, though. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. That's why I started coming on member only, because I'm not lonely. I'm not on here for attention. I prefer just to turn it off and go in the world and just be myself and go away. But the point of the YouTube was to generate income, which it has. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't stick around. Are you okay? Can't choose your family. That's right. Erica, are you okay? I kind of don't like having a tray on my lap. I really, really didn't even think about it until this moment. I've mentioned to you guys that I spent a lot of time as a little child in the hospital. And one of the things that you get in the hospital is a tray of food pushed in front of you. And recognizing that kind of triggers me a little bit neurologically. Alan, we do have a nice community here, don't we? And anyone in the chat who's watching, who's not in the chat, but is watching, memberships start at only 99 cents, so you're more than welcome to drop into the chat. But there's a very nominal entrance fee, because I just am not interested in talking to anybody that's not willing to be in here, talk to us about what we talk about with us and be with us. Because we have a great community here. But it's not free, because there's got to be gatekeeping of some kind. There's got to be quality control. Trolls won't pay 99 cents. And I'll still kick out a troll who pays. New guy. You know what? Like I said, I don't want to unbless myself. Why would I unbless myself? I've been given so much, and I don't like being unhealthy. I spent a lot of time in the hospital as a little child, very, very, very sick. So the fact that I have control, generally speaking, over the quality of my life through my health, absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, sourdough bread, avocado, tomato, some yummy grilled chicken. Who wouldn't want to eat this? I've been watching the Nomadic Ladies in Iran still. You guys, do you watch that? Do you know who I'm talking about? It's called Nomadic 4. You can't search it up that way, though. I don't know why. I don't understand why people have different names of their channel than what they are. I love tapas. Oh my god. Are any of you familiar with the restaurant called Tutu Tango? Godfather, I've only had this channel for 1 year. It probably seems like 18 months. Oh, great substitute for eggs. That's interesting. Uh-oh, shit. There go my tomatoes. Oh, Jesus. I like the squeeze bottles, but they need to make it so that when you squeeze it out, the air goes out with it. You know? It should be plastic or collapsible or whatever. Yeah, I've only had this channel for about a year. For 1 year. It seems like so much longer. Oh, thanks for the compliment. It's been a hard year in my life, too. I didn't mean to drag you guys through my drama. I know. Hopefully, next year, this time, you'll be like, that flew by. Doesn't seem like another year. It's been hard. I went through, like, one of the ugliest periods of my life, and right here on live stream. Crazy. What are you guys doing today? Oh, okay. Cholesterol wise. Plants don't have cholesterol. You're working. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a plant lipid. It is a base, just like aloe. Until after you retire. I love mayonnaise, you guys. But only Hellmann's are best foods, and someone recently told me about like some dude like Dukes or something. It's alright. I don't know. But it keeps putting too much on there. I don't want that much on there. Oh, that sounds fun, Heather. See, it's just I don't want that much on there. Mike's? Thank you everybody for being here. I know there's a lot of new people watching. My name is Genevieve, and I just come on here and talk to you guys about whatever's been going on. And you know, I was doing some downloading, like spiritual downloads about the rainbow, and then I came across Mary's thing. Rainy. Well, what do you do? What do you do? Huh. Rainy in Georgia. Yeah, see, I can't handle that. 1 or 2 days max, and then it's got to get back to sunny. Anyway, I've been watching The Family, you know, in Iran. If you guys watched them, you'd be like, man, Genevieve needs to be there. Okay. Flooring warehouse. That's good. I mean, I guess if you've got something to do, like hang out with me. You know what? I commend you for doing that. I wish I could do that. I really do. I already know how it goes down, though. It's best for me to stay hidden. Look, I made a little Sammy. Oh, that's not gonna work. Mm-mm. That's too big and hard. It's the very end of the sourdough. Anyway, I wouldn't do that if we were eating at the White House. They would be giving us forks and stuff. Erica, I know, honey. I know. I know. You gotta come out camping with me sometime. We'll go get you some yummy Shasta water. I'll put you in your own little space where you can feel safe. You can have a dog to protect you and guns and stuff. And just be. But it's not the same as being able just to go and do it for real. You know? I need to be able to do it for real. I did some other research too. That is controversial. And I don't really, it's, you know, how conflicted I am. I'm not even going to bring it up. Never mind. Oh, a woman in this business? That's so funny. Yeah, I guess they don't see a lot of girls in the warehouse there in the flooring world, huh? Just say, I am a man. I'm a man, man. Don't misgender me. I'm a dude. See, back in the 90s, Gen Xers could joke about stuff like that, and nobody got triggered. I did them. I have to remember I'm not really in my house alone. You guys are here. Why don't you? You don't want to do install? Attention to detail. Do you know that women's and eyes, women's and men's eyes are built differently? I've taught this before on this channel right here. Women's eyes and the male and female eyes are built to see different things. So men shouldn't do things that require like intricacy and detail. Their eyeballs actually are better suited to see movement at a distance. I'm not saying men aren't good at detail and all that. We've come a long way, right? Yeah, I would imagine. Oh my god. Install's hard. Alright. Oh. I don't know why I think that vitamins are supposed to last me for like a month. Like if I take one vitamin, I'm probably good for a month. When you're supposed to take them daily. I'm gonna go get them. I'll be right back. You know what? That would be nice. Oh my god. Oh, nothing but rain. Oh my god. So I have this business idea, right? When I was thinking about moving to Pennsylvania, when Corey was going there, I wanted to open up a store, the Happy Store, the Happy Place. And it would have full spectrum bulbs people could enjoy, and plants and running water and games, and you can bring your kids during the day and have coffee, and basically like a coffee shop but with the full spectrum bulbs, but a cool coffee shop and bookstore where you can just hang out in like a kid area. There was a coffee shop I went to in where was that? Not Echo Park, but right next to Glendale. And they had a little kid area, and it had a little gate and a latch, and the mommies would go in there with their kids, and they would play with the trains, and free refills, baby, you know it, on coffee. Fuck yeah, free brew refills, you know it, honey. Don't you think in Pennsylvania, in places where it's constantly just cloudy and everything, that would do really well, even if someone really didn't, even if it was sunny out, you could still go in there, right? Running water, beautiful music. You know I'm a big proponent of free fucking refills. No, it's a brew. It's not a specialty. You can get a refill of a brew or refill specialty brew. I mean, specialty drink, brew refills. Brew drink, only brew refills. Because coffee costs us money. I can't believe that guy said that to me. Well, we have, our coffee costs money. Like, everybody's coffee costs money. It's but one of the, like, super cheapest things that there is, or there wouldn't be so many coffee shops around profiting. Moderators for unacceptable behavior in a coffee shop. Okay, that will be your job. But usually, think about it. If you've got a bunch of depressed people because it's cloudy and awful, and then they go in this room, they're not going to be behaving unacceptably. They're going to be so happy. That's why it's called the happy place. Security. Oh, kids. Yeah, their parents are the moderators. When you get a bunch of kids in a place where there's full spectrum light, running water, beautiful music, wind chimes and stuff like that, you guys have to know that any place I would create peace among children, and there would only be intelligent adults there. Think about it. Maybe okay, girls, you're obviously both afraid of children. We would have special kid hours. How about that? You can run it any way you want to. You can open yours and run it any way you want to. Wouldn't you rather have those little out of control kids in your own care so you can brainwash them? Like I said, if anybody's going to brainwash my kids, it's going to be me. I haven't been enjoying weed lately, you guys. I think I've risen above it. It creates density. It doesn't make me high, it makes me low. I might have turned out of I don't know. Maybe just right now. I know I'm kind of edgy and stuff. I'm going through a thing, I guess. Maybe. I think that even though maybe I'm not, I still have a cycle, obviously. Probably that's all it is. but like I can feel it, and that's like the high vibrational stuff there. But my body's like, oh. It's the parents that don't want to discipline the children, yeah. Well, and that starts at home, you know, so it's like there's certain, yeah, it's like, I know, I totally understand. And there were times that my child was that child while I was figuring out what's acceptable and what isn't. There were times. See, for a long time, for a couple years, for a few years, Corey was homeschooled by me and had his dad at home with him. And his daddy, they would do battle. And then Trinity came along and they would do battle. And they would, you know, Daddy would sing the theme song. And they'd battle. Like, you know, comic. Boom. Ooh. Well, so when Corey was really little and I'd go take him to play with other kids, that's how he thought, you know, like, he would play more like a guy boy, like a kid with a dad. But he was playing with a lot of kids who were solely raised by their moms all day long because they're homeschoolers, but their dads are out of the house, breadwinners. Not everybody was working from home in those days, but both of his parents were working from home. And so it was hard for him to find other kids where he, you know, where it's like they've had a lot of interaction and playtime with their dad like that. You know, and he and Trinity used to play like that up until, I don't know, up until Corey was probably about 12. Oh, but Heather, you guys, please look at what's happening astronomically and astrologically. If you don't, you're missing one of the most important events of all of human history, and for sure your life. If you do not, please listen to me. You need to go and look at what's happening with the planets and what it means for you on a electromagnetic level. You know, okay, do you agree that the moon has something to do with the tides? Okay, good. Do you agree that women are on a 28-day cycle because of the influences of the astral body? Yes, okay, good. So then there's planets out there and stuff, I guess, that when they swirl around, they have that pull and impact on us, and they're all aligning and doing these things right now, in the next few weeks. And the way they're coming in, how they're coming in, like Saturn, and they'll wobble in and out of this for a minute. Over the next, till about December, they're going to wobble a little bit, and then they're going to just go boom. And they'll be in that same, like, basic lineup for about the next 13, 14 years. Look back 13, 14 years ago. If you can look back on the last 13 or 14 years and think, wow, I really got sidetracked. This is kind of like taking that and taking this and going boom. You're connecting where you kind of were maybe 13, 14 years ago, and maybe you're like feeling like maybe you were actualized or in a creative heightened state, or some great things were happening in life, and then boom, the last like 15, 14, 13, 14. And then now. And it's coming back into, so it's going to be wobbling a little bit, and then it's going to go into that state for the next 13, 14 years. And then it will change again, you know. So this is a time where Saturn's coming into Aries. New beginnings. I've told you guys, and if you've been with me, you've seen me have the revelation that I'm Saturn 8. I didn't know anything about that. And then I was like, oh my God, you can actually know your code? You can actually read your code? Each individual person? Blow me away. So I went into that, and I'm happy to help you guys know your code as well. You know that I can help you with that if you contact me on Patreon, Jen B. Knight. So now what I understand is that Saturn coming into Aries, new beginning for the next 15, 16 years, is like probably that lid coming off the top of my Saturn at 8. Like, it's exactly what it says when you're Saturn at 8, is that there's like the second half of your life is where you get to actualize the first half of your life. Maybe very frustrating, it may be very hard, maybe for you guys it's over here probably. I really don't know how you're seeing me right now. And I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. So yeah, all of the planetary alignments, and that's why certain people like me, we can alert you to when Mercury retrograde is hitting. If we like, I forget to look it up, and now I know. I've made sure I know, because you can prepare for Mercury retrograde so it doesn't hit you so hard. If you understand it, you can, you guys. Yeah. There's a lot going on out there right now. But if I could express and impress anything upon you from this live stream, it's that I promise you, promise you, promise you, promise you, promise you, promise you, I promise you, I promise you, the answers are all right inside of you right now at this very moment. Got it? I'm not metaphoring. I'm not. Maybe the third eye is the one that looks inside. The third eye looks in. Because that's where everything is. I'm not making a metaphor. That's why I started with the moon, right? The moon tides, right? When I told Godfather, he said, I got a pinched nerve. I'm like, lay on the floor. Did you? Did you lay on the floor? Was it a metaphor when I said lay on the floor? Try to figure out what that means, what I'm saying. No, lay on the floor. Look inside. Not a metaphor. Look in. In Christianity, I think they say something like 14,000. I think I know exactly who they are. I bet I could get a list of names. I bet you I know so much who they are. And I know that's probably a metaphor too, but if it isn't, I bet I could make a list. Don't unbless yourselves, you guys. Right? How have you been blessed? Just one, like the biggest thing right now that you can think of in a way you've been blessed. Like, okay, oh yeah, your heart beats, blah, 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 whatever. How have you, like, literally been blessed in a way where you're like, you know what? This is a really awesome thing about me that I love, that I had nothing to do with making, but it's a way that I can take and give back, and it's like the best part of me. You children. Exactly. Oh, exactly. That's like the perfect answer. You're not as bad off as many others. Come on, girl. Boy. I don't have a clue who you are. I'm sorry. I wish I did. So, you're not as bad off as many others. Didn't you have a 55 on the end of your name before? Where'd that go? Always learning something new. Empathy and compassion. Okay. I think, though, that if you're a natural human being, you have that anyway. Go further than that. What is something that is like you can't take credit for, but people are always like, oh my God. Your health. All right, well, you guys are cute. I'm sorry, but it's like, really? That's all you got? I take care of myself because who am I not to? You know, I didn't make this. I was given a lot. I was placed in a country where there's freedom to be me. I had nothing to do with being born here in the United States of America, and for that, I feel blessed. I feel blessed for having been born in the United States of America at this time, in all of whatever construct history this is. I am so incredibly blessed that I am able to go from being a nonverbal child to speaking eloquently and being able to take visual concepts and turning them into verbal strings of understandable language. You know, I am blessed that in society's terms, although I was a very homely, sickly looking child because I was sick, that somehow society and nature and whatever has aligned with now, I'm considered extremely beautiful, and that does make life easier in some ways. But then people project and attribute onto me, but I'm going to take it as a blessing. I feel blessed that I feel blessed that way. I have empathy for people who have a lifetime, because I'm sure I've been there. I've had the lifetimes too, where it wasn't this, it's all a lesson and it's all veils for others. You know, this veils me. The way you see me, you see what you want to see. You know, if I hold a veil in front of me and all you hear are my words, I could look any way, shape, or form. And then if I reveal myself, how does the word I'm giving you change based on what I look like and what that means to you? I have no idea, right? But I feel blessed. I do. I feel blessed that all my fingers and toes work and my legs, and I can breathe. I've had times where I couldn't breathe. I am so blessed that I can breathe. I am so blessed. And you saw I hit my inhaler today, right? I just had some physical thing go down, and it was like, wow, you know, that really fucked. Whoa, Kitty, what are you doing? I don't want her to push that lamp off of the thing. I'm blessed that I can see. I am blessed that I can attract viewers like you who will sit and watch and listen and take away into the world I don't know what, but what I do know is that the vibrations of the words that you're allowing to be spread throughout the world by having your phone on, speaker, or headphones is helping the vibration of whatever we say, these YouTubers and creators, and here I am in your ear, that if I'm the one speaking, that I should speak truth to power, that I should bring the light, right? And that's been really hard for me to do since about last August. I've been going through a major life transformation and struggle. As soon as I said to you guys, I'm timeline jumping, and I said it might look like Inception, I don't know. And then it did, and maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, and maybe it wouldn't have, I don't know. Apparently that's what I could understand and deal with if it happened, and it did. And I don't know how I did it, I just did it, and it was hard. And so then what? I positioned myself in such a way that through that timeline jumping, where now we're closer because everybody has reconstructed their life since where we were last year. Totally reconstructed, and everybody's got what they need now, so that we can all grow. Eric, hi, oh my God, where have you been? So that we can all grow and be the most you can be. Be the most you. Even if that means to chill the fuck out. You know? I'm a Leo. I know that doesn't come as a surprise now. Now you figured it out. You're like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm a Leo with a Scorpio, Libra cusp ascendant, and Aquarius moon. I know, I did get a great chart, but Saturn in 8, and that's why right here, right now, you're seeing the Saturn in 8. You're seeing the Saturn in 8 happening. And Mars in Leo. I know, for anybody out there who knows, they're like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. And so that's what I'm saying, like, am I unique, or am I just my electromagnetic timestamp from the moment I was born I'm just coded with? We can crack your code too. And I wish I would have had someone who understood it in that way from the time I first started reading my code, because I didn't know it was my code, and I didn't really know because I was so young. I had no way of knowing what those things could possibly mean in my life. If I had someone with life experience help me read my code and ask questions and pull out patterns, it's about pulling out patterns and go, oh, okay, it comes back around, because it doesn't it? It comes around in your life because it comes around in reality. It's all built on basically a hopefully evolving turntable kind of energetic system. I don't want to overwhelm anyone. I just have ways of putting things that either resonate with you or don't. But for me, it's not make-believe. It's actually code. And they've said it's code. So it's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, no, it's code. Just trust me, it's code. I've got this new... No, it's code. They said the DNA is coded. Go read about the DNA if you don't believe it's a code. You are coded. So the moment you take your first breath... Anyone can challenge me, but it is the breath. That's your electromagnetic timestamp. You've turned yourself on as a being. You're now generating. Before that, you were just a body floating. You were just the body. You were just the battery. Once you take that first breath, there, it's on. Now, at that moment, there's an electromagnetic environment called it doesn't even matter what it's called. Boom! Okay, it's coded on you. And that's your natal chart. Go to a free natal chart online. Oh, my natal chart. You're going to put in your birthday. You're going to put in your place and time of birth. And it's going to give you this very detailed outline of where the planets were. It's going to tell you your signs, your where the moon was, blah blah blah, right? It's going to give you a breakdown of how that impacts you dynamically. All these different alignments coming together makes you. And you can go read about it. And people can say, oh, well, you could read anybody's and you'd think it was yours. No. Maybe, but I don't think so. It's your owner's manual, your guidebook to you. But it's kind of like a lot to understand. If when I first started reading mine, when I was 14, I had someone to say, okay, what I think this looks like could be, because it's connected to this other aspect of home and security, and we've got this aspect of like travel, and it's in a negative aspect, then I'm kind of thinking that up until this point, and it might be repetitive, and they help you see where you might need to pay special attention during certain times based on how the planets are aligned. And you guys, listen, if you get one thing out of right now, it is there has really never been a time like this where the planets are aligned like this. And if you miss it, you're going to miss like a surfer not paying attention, and here comes like the monster wave he's been waiting for. This is the monster wave you've been waiting for right now in the next couple of weeks. And it's going to stabilize. It's going to be like kind of turbulent, getting up on the wave maybe, because it's coming in and out of different planets, alignments. Oh, they're wobbling a little bit. But they're coming around, and getting up on the wave is going to take just until, December, and then you're going to be on the wave. But if you miss climbing up on the wave now, you're going to miss the wave. Now. Get on the wave right now. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, I want you to go. Can you hear me? That happens when my phone rings, just so you know. If you are new here, thank you so much for being here. My name is Genevieve. And subscribe. Do the bell thing, go to my Patreon, look in the description of the video. I spend a lot of time in nature. That's where I belong. I start to freak out in the concrete box. I'm edgy right now because I haven't been properly grounded in nature for a long time, and I start to freak out. The people in the chat, my moderators and members, can attest to that. If I'm out in nature, I'm good to go. When I come out of nature, I am not good to go, especially if it's been a while. So you can go to your natal chart and learn about yourself, you guys. It's just how it is. And it's okay to do. Don't feel bad about it. It's like if you have an owner's manual and you don't read it, because it might not be real. It might not be true. It might not be for... No, how could that be? It is. It is. Billionaires use astrology and astronomy and the waves of the energies and all of that stuff. Yeah, I go somewhere in nature and I start smiling again and talking more softly. Yep, just go and look up your free natal chart. You might have to give them your email address. And just read all about it. And no, we all read in spell check, don't we? Well, it wasn't me. It was just your chart. It was just you. I can just read it. But the interpretations are helpful, right? I mean, it's really helpful if we can interpret what is trying. It's just like, was the world in black and white before the spectrum was brought in after the flood? Doesn't that kind of seem like something we might want to ask? Or no, it is. I just saw it. I saw it. You guys, I want to know what's inside Mount Shasta too. Mount Shasta is an architectural structure. I should probably go watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? I'm like so Richard Dreyfuss. He tried to tell him, he's like, oh my god, oh my god. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And then like, I told you. Thank you all for being here. Now, I just received some information from those who are not in the chat but who are watching. And I heard you. Someone or the collective of you said, even though you're not in the chat, it's so much nicer to watch the live stream because it's member only in the chat, so there's no trolls. I cannot stand anymore going to live streams where there's just a bunch of trolls and either the creator's ignoring them or they're addressing them. And I started thinking last night, as a matter of fact, I was like, you know what? YouTube is negligent in that. I want YouTube to handle the trolls, but then a lot of them are just bots, right? And so this is the perfect way for all of us to win. Because I enjoy this live stream immensely because no one has to deal with trolls. I can get into my flow and be really who I am. The members are having more fun. The mods are having more fun. Everybody's having a great conversation. And if you're watching and you're relaxed because you're just listening, or you're listening and you're not hearing me yell at trolls, you're not hearing me read troll comments. It is clean and wonderful. And I think this is how I'm going to live stream from now on. Membership is only 99 cents. So if you're compelled to be in the chat and you've been a subscriber for a while and you like being here, it's only 99 cents. And I do give out memberships. And so if there were ever a troll that was gifted a membership, I would just get rid of them. So I'm really happy with the way this is turning out. And see, it was just about really kind of like manifesting. I just put it out there that I wanted YouTube to handle their trolls. And then I was given the way that YouTube gave me to handle the trolls. So it all works out. And I love you guys being here. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe when you're viewing. It's good. Subscribe so you get notifications. Put your bell to all notifications. And then when you're ready to come into the chat and meet my mods and members and have this conversation with us together, then you can become a member. Or maybe you'll be lucky and be gifted a member. But I'm really, really glad for those of you who are here. There's only maybe between 5 and 7, 10 people on actually chatting right now. So I know a lot of you are watching and listening, and I really, really appreciate you for whatever reason it is. If it is, and this is what I'm saying when it comes to acknowledging the fact that you've been blessed, if you are only simply watching because you think I'm this incredibly goddess-like beautiful woman and you just want to see my armpits and my fingers, you know what? That's a blessing too. I will take it because one day my hope is to deliver you into your own life where you have a beautiful, full relationship with a woman who is natural, who is compassionate, who can see through you. Because that is what men need right now, ladies, girls, men, women, ladies. We are the ones who deliver the guys to spirit. They're not our girlfriends. They're not our best friends. They're not our shopping buddies. Don't do the water cooler Eve snake thing in your husband's ears. Don't drag him to YouTube to watch all the dirt on Karen Reed or whatever, you know, the diddler trial. Don't do it. Don't unbless yourself. That's what I mean by unblessing yourself. If you're consuming that stuff, you're unblessing yourself with those behaviors. And I'm trying to tell you right now is the time, if you've ever needed the motivation to make the transformation, you got to do it now because of what's happening with the planet alignment. The planetary alignment will pass you by if you do not jump on board. Do it now. What does that mean? How do I do it? What do I do? How do I do it? What do I do? Stop watching the bullshit on YouTube, on TV. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, eat no evil. Don't stand around gossiping with people. Don't consume the content on YouTube that wants to draw you into what happened at the Diddy trial and draw you into what happened with the fucking who knows what, because I don't watch that shit. You know what? Flip by, find what you need to find, know what's going on, and then get back to going and turn your little third eye around and look in. Start there. Start there. Does anybody have anything that they would like to talk about? Well, drink my Kool-Aid. Whew. I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot energetically. I realized I've had yet another upgrade. Remember, I had an upgrade when I came back from Shasta. The first time I was like, oh my god, I just got an upgrade. The last time I went, I didn't come home saying that, did I? I was like, this water is fucking amazing. And after a while, I had to get away from Shasta. I didn't come back saying I had an upgrade. I was just like, wow. After a while, it's like raw energy. You have to get away a little bit. Here we go. So seriously, Shasta is, it has to be a power generator, and the water that comes out of it is distilled water that went through and what is the water that comes out of that kind of power generator? What would that be? Distilled, right? It would be the product of like steam and mist that would be, and then it runs down through the rocks. So like, but it's run down through those rocks and the lava rocks for so long. You'd think it would have already picked up everything it was going to pick up. And the inside of it is now just, I don't know. I think it's an architectural structure. I think that's what it is. And I would like to go somewhere closer by and just have not such a profound and that's a lot. Don't go to Shasta unprepared. I had no idea what it was. It called me, you guys. It called me and gave me an upgrade. And then I went back and I looked at it and I could see through it. And I could see people's. There's something that I could see when I left that I'm not seeing so much anymore. And maybe it's because it's just the people around there that have been drinking the water. Kool-Aid kid. So do you guys know what's been happening with the red food dyes coming out of, it's like laughable. So why now, after so many years of them telling you it was awful, why bother, you know? Like, what do you want, a parade? Thanks, you know, now we've already, the ones of us who don't want to drink red dye, we don't already. Now they're like, oh, well, we're just not gonna, they're so far behind and on purpose, you know? It's crazy. I want you guys to be healthy. Don't unbless yourselves, please. In whichever ways that you are living and breathing and thinking and seeing and whatever it is a blessing. They got rid of the safest ones. Of course they did. You know, that's why I am the way I am, because I'm waiting for the punchline, baby. There's always a good one. Good Lord. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, will this castor oil sink in, or am I gonna have to? It's gonna sink in, right? My hair is having a weird hair day. Push that shit back into the horse. What? Excuse me. Oh. Anyway, like I said, does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss? How are you? What's happening with you guys? I know you're feeling this. I know you're feeling this. Wow. Okay, so Alfie says, got some news. Have to go back to the hospital for more testing. They think it might be a tumor on my brain or pituitary gland. Maybe that explains my erratic behavior. Well, that would probably, yeah. When is this happening, honey? Heather says, I'm in the middle of quitting and cutting back on alcohol. Oh. Do you know that I've been wanting to work with someone who's cutting back on alcohol? Soon, Alfie says. So, in this process, what I found in my studies, because I am formally educated at university, and what's happening biologically. I can't speak to the psychology of it. What's happening physiologically is alcohol is converting into glucose in your body, so you get this spike. And then it does this, and you start to go below baseline and have a craving, and so you do more. Spike. You have a drink, and it spikes it again, right? So then you get these glucose roller coasters. So it goes way up, and then it comes down, 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 and then as soon as it starts to get down there and close, you feel it, just drink up. There we go. There we go. It's a sugar addiction on a physiological level. Now, on, like I said, emotional, psychological, all of that, I don't know. But, right? So, you've got this roller coaster going on with the glucose levels because the alcohol converts to sugar in the body. Alcohol converts to sugar in the body. When people start to cut back, or when they quit cold turkey, they'll wake up in the middle of the night to have candy and cakes or sugars and cookies and whatever. And the reason why it will wake you up is because the glucose roller coaster, so the sugar and the candies and the cookies and everything is still sugar. So it goes up, you have a drink of that or a bite, have like a few cookies and you get that glucose spike, and then it goes down, 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 and when it starts getting down here, and this goes for people who are addicted to food. You're not addicted. You don't understand the glucose roller coaster and how to get rid of it. So it goes up, 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 right? You get the spike, you feel great, but then you feel like crap because you did it again, right? So then you've got this whole thing going on in your psychology up here. So then it goes down. Now, what do we do to stop this? What can we do right now that is so easy and so instant? What you're going to do is trick your body. Basically, it wants sugar. Okay. Glucose ain't the only fucking sugar, you know? Glucose is not the only sugar. There's another sugar that's actually really good for you and will stabilize the roller coaster. It takes the glucose roller coaster, goes and it stabilizes that sugar like bam, almost immediately. So the next time, right now, like today, I don't mean the next time next month, the next time, right now, today, right now, get up, go to the store if you have to while I'm talking, take me with you, unplug, go. Go, 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 go. If you do not have these things in your house, fresh fruit, go get yourself a big, 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 big bag of tangerines, the organic ones, spend the extra money. Look at my video on which ones are better. The organic's better. It's only $1 more. Spend the buck. Spend the dollar. Okay? Spend the dollar. Get the better shit because you want to love it. Every time that you want to have a glass of wine, I don't care if you eat the whole fucking bag, eat a bunch of tangerines. You're going to love, well, you know that I did burn my fingertips again with opening all the tangerines, okay? I did. Not as bad as with... Be careful. Fructose, but not the processed fructose. It's the natural raw fructose that you're supposed to be consuming. If you lived in the Garden of Eden and you walked over and picked off some beautiful tangerines and apples or berries and go get you some fruit. That's it. If you're a carb craver and you don't understand why you can't stop fucking eating sweets, if you're an alcoholic and you can't stop drinking, get you some fruit. Go to the store, get you the best, and get a lot of it. Get a lot of it. And eat it. Eat that shit. And you know what else? Get some watermelon because it's full of water. You're going to need that. That water is going to cleanse you. Go also, if you want to, get yourself, go to one of those like water stores or whatever that they have and get some distilled water. Get like a couple gallons of distilled water and drink that too because that's going to help detox you real quick. It detoxes you on a molecular level. Distilled water. So you're going to just, every time you want to drink, every time you want the fucking cookies. Now, I'm not talking about potato chips. That doesn't work unless they've got a bunch of sugar flavoring in them. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. Look on the ingredients of your Doritos. Look on the ingredients of your Dave's bread. Do you eat Dave's bread and you can't figure out why you can't eat any other bread? Look at the sugar content, baby. just love those Ritz crackers. Look at the sugar content. I love the Wonder Bread. Sugar content. Eat your fruit. You're gonna love touching it and smelling it. You're gonna love peeling it. You're gonna love putting it in your mouth and chewing it. And it is such a more ecstatic and heavenly, sensual experience to consume fruit than Oreos or a glass of wine. It just is. You know? And when they talk about Jesus turning water into wine, they weren't talking about wine. They were talking about the spinal fluid. They've got people thinking they're being good Christians by over-consuming alcohol. I think it's a psyop on girls, because it always is. Who sits around at night drinking wine? It's not the guys. It's a culture among women. You can go to stores and you can get merch about the culture of wine drinking. But Jesus, it's Jesus juice. Jesus. No, it's too much. When you're Jewish, you have this holiday in particular called Purim, where like you're supposed to get drunk. There's fairly, statistically and historically, fairly low alcoholism in the Jewish community because their kids start drinking that gross sweet shit really, really young. So when you've had that gross hangover from that too sweet of wine and everything really, really young, it creates an aversion. You know, you could do that. You know, but that could result in alcohol poisoning. Don't do that. Go get yourself. And Godfather, I would imagine that fructose would still be fructose, you know? Chicken grease and tangerine juice? What's that? You went on a bender a month ago, took you 2 weeks to stabilize your glucose level. Yeah. And I showed you guys what was left in the bottle of Prosecco. I probably had maybe half. Because it's not going to be filled all the way to the top, and the bottle goes like that. The bottom is like that, and it's full. So I, yesterday, still felt like garbage. Yeah. Dark chocolate, so do I. So, you know, and this whole conversation goes right back to don't unbless yourself. If you really, 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 really want to stop or cut back, go spoil yourself. That's a couple bottles of wine a night. Whatever you would spend on that. I'm not saying don't get the wine because you've got to transition. It's going to happen fast though. You're going to spend the same amount, if not more, however much you want. You're going to spoil yourself with the best quality fruit. And just find somewhere beautiful outside where, and even if you don't, I don't give a fuck. Just eat the shit in your kitchen. I don't care if you eat in the bathroom, take it a crap. But if you can, go out in nature and ground yourself. Drink your distilled water. You know, like, I don't want to pile too much on top of it. I'm just saying that just get the fruit. Get the fucking fruit. Okay? You cookie monsters out there and winos and whoever you are, I love you. It's not your fault because unless you don't do what I tell you. Then it's your fault. Because I'm right. That's why. Because I'm right. And I'm gifting this to you because I love you. Not because I get anything out of this. Other than that one person every once in a while that says, you know what, you changed my life with what you said. That's why I'm here. Because, and not for that one person to come back and tell me. I'm here because I know that one person is out there, and that's all I need to know. Well, yeah, any reasonable woman gets upset when their man gets shit-faced. Yeah, good for her. Good for her. You better not pout, you better not cry, you better not shout, I'm telling you why. Because you know better. You're making a list and checking it twice, trying to find out if you're naughty or nice. Yourself is coming to town. You see you when you're sleeping, you know when you're awake. You know if you've been bad or good, so be good for your own sake. Someone send me some more out. You know, I think we need to have a little bit more of a reciprocal relationship here, guys. I'm doing a lot of generating. I could just use another thing of oat milk, please. I will hand it to one of our people for stepping up one time. Okay? I mean, unexpected, appreciated, maybe. I'm not sure. Hard to say. Woo! The same milk. I can have your milk? Yay! Boobies! Oh, that's not what you meant. You know, I've got characters, that's all. They come out sometimes. It's good to let your characters come out once in a while. Once in a while, I like to and can see what a troll might write. Okay, Kitty, don't knock the lamp down, fatso. She's gotten very fat. Ooh, dirty. Like it's right on the edge. Hold on. Just get these cameras off a little better. Look out, Kitty, you're too fat, I think. Ooh. Is she stuck, do you think? I'm kidding. Kitty, do you want me to move the lamp for you? Hi, baby. Hi, baby. And good girl. Da, 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 da. Get down now. Good girl. No, that's my seat. Bad to the bone. Heather, I don't drink milk. Ah. After work every day. Yeah. I mean, that's a US thing, obviously. You know that too, right? What do you guys have going on today? I need to put my lunch away. Maybe I'll just eat a little bit more here, right? Just munch just a little more. Oh. Did I scare you off, Heather? One bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. All at once? Yeah, I want to know. Oh. Oh, it's a song. I love tomatoes. I just love red fruit. I left the rat race 10 years ago. Good for you. I know, Heather. I mean, that's like how I feel. Ugh, like, you know. I know it is. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. I know. It's trippy, Heather. It's like, that's exactly what's trippy about it. It's very one-sided. You know? Like, I was watching the nice lady that was recently homeless and now she's got a place in Arizona and everything. And she's saying what street corner she's walking on and everything. It's like, I could find her tomorrow if I felt like it. It's weird because you don't kind of feel like, you know, I don't want to have to be all like paranoid or weird or anything like that. And at the same time, it's like, you guys know me, I don't know you. And yeah, I know. It's weird. It's like that. What are you gonna do? I mean, maybe that's the only way I can do it. I don't have a big friend group for a reason, you know? And one of the things about other platforms that I could go on and grow my audience to is that you see their faces, hear their voices, and that activity for my brains is too much. I would rather be, I prefer to be, and this is more telepathic for me. You know, I feel like I'm connected to you guys telepathically. Right? Yeah. And I'm grateful for that, and that's another reason, you know, why I it's now even more important for me that I don't unbless myself, because I feel like anytime I might unbless myself or welcome drama or whatever, I'm doing it to you guys too, because it spreads through our energy networks, you know, and I don't want to do that. And that's like my whole life. I felt like I was a nun or a you know, healer woman, and I was led astray many times, but my whole life I always saw myself as basically who I'm becoming now. And so none of this is new to me. And being able to communicate with you telepathically, I mean, there's probably going to be times that you guys might even see me, like, you know, when you're sleeping in your dreams or whatever like that. I mean, don't think that that's not telepathic communication. Me either. Not in, like, the physical third dimension. It's like, that's just not how I get down. That's not how I'm wired. Right? But if we could be telepathic, we'd have a bunch of friends. That's the thing, right, Heather? If we could be telepathic friends, we'd have a bunch of friends. And that's what I was telling you guys about with the telepathy tapes. The Hill. I believe I was reached out to and was at the, I think I got there one time. Or they came to me or tapped in, like, I was there, and I think that a couple of them, it was two boys, like teenage sounding, like man boy, because I think I was like, is this the hill? And they're like, yeah, you're on the hill. And then that was it. I have no reason to doubt that. No reason to doubt that at all. Testing it is another thing. I mean, and I'm not testing it because I'm doubting it. I'm testing it to find what I can find. Evidence one way or another. Yeah, Alan, totally. Oh. So, I still really would like to be studying shiatsu, and I was so surprised to see the Ayurvedic college there in Grass Valley. I thought it was in Shasta. I thought I saw it in Shasta. It wasn't Shasta. It was Nevada City. Heather, totally. I feel the same exact way. I don't really ever feel like I'm alone anyway. If I ever want to talk to somebody, I can talk to myself or, you know, talk to God or whatever. Yep, Erica, totally. Been burned too many times, motherfuckers. I get it. Yeah, it's like y'all have shown me who you are collectively. I'm gonna have to pass. That's a hard pass for me, thanks. Not you, just people in general have shown me who they are. When people show you who they are, believe them. Okay, focusing on yourself for the first time since college days. Oh, that's so important. That's so important. And hopefully, and I don't know when that was, but like I said, the last chunk of Astrologicals was 13, 14 years. Now we're going into a new astronomical phase for the next 13, 14 years. It is what it is. It's a new word to figure out how to spell it and put it in the dictionary. Yep. Too nice and try to help people. That's right. That's right. You got to be careful. You got to help yourself first. It's the oxygen mask thing, but also, discernment. How do we learn discernment? A dog, dogs love everybody. Dogs love everybody. It's a rare day when my dog's doesn't like someone. Like, rrr. When my dog doesn't like someone, that scares the fuck out of me. Okay, it's time for me to stop talking a little bit and hydrate and maybe stretch. My brains feel like they're under pressure from talking for too long. Y'all know that I actually did consider if I should just go nonverbal again. But I didn't, because I didn't. Yeah, my kids remind me too, I know. Just the other day, Trinity reminded me. I started coming up with an idea, and he's like, no. She's like, no. 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 Yep, Heather. It's crazy. We can still help, though. We still gotta. We need to be able to help one another. We need to be able to love one another. We need to do that. I think that's the only. I don't ever get lonely, and I have my children to love. But I remember before there was my children, I just didn't have anybody to outwardly love. I didn't really feel like I needed so much love from someone else. But it was like I just felt like that was my job, and I'm not able to do my job. Alan. Hey. Just go direct. I do the same thing. You know I do. All right. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stand up, reconfigure. You need to be plugged in, and I need to go. I've been eating. I just need to stretch for a minute. Oh, Erica, it's actually related to IQ. Yeah. That's the best way I've found not to flash the masses. Don't wanna flash the masses, no. No, I don't. But don't wanna flash the masses, no, I don't. No, I don't. Are you sure you don't wanna flash the masses, baby? Okay. I think I'm gonna have like a coffee. What do I do? I guess I'm just gonna have to dump that Prosecco down the sink. I think their quality isn't what it used to be or something. Are they owned by Budweiser now? I don't know. It's very disappointing. I feel the same way, Heather. Like, I'm the best company. If there's someone who's as good of company as me, I'm happy to hang out with them, you know? Not you guys. Okay. I'm going to make one of these things. It's not coffee grounds, it's instant coffee with flavoring, and it's really sweet, but I don't have any brewed coffee, and it's just gonna have to be what it is. But I really like these because I can take these camping instead of taking oat milk. This is oat milk sweetener. So you know how I was taking hot chocolate and mixing it with my coffee? Well, this is instant coffee and oat milk. I mean, I'm not crazy about the plastic, but they found that there's a fungus that likes to eat plastic and then probably will eat that fungus. So it all works out in the end, see? Sorry. That was funny. There was someone in the chat the other day like, you microwave water? Well, have you ever microwaved coffee? What's the difference? I don't know. Let me get my cup. Erica, yeah, totally. See? But, you know, and that's the thing. Like, we would have never found each other, what, at the grocery store? Maybe we would have, like, pulled up together at a stoplight, like, if we were, like, road raging at the same person and, like, high-five through the window or something, you know what I mean? But where would people like us ever find one another? And that's what I love about the platform, right? Because we can find each other and then one day have like a member trip. A member trip. And you can see what I smell like. And then I've got to learn everybody's names to your faces because even though you're here, you're like that big. And I've never heard your voices, except Godfather. You have to wear name tags. There was a boy, a very strange enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far o'er the hills and something. I don't know that song. What about on an airplane? How likely would we have been to sit on the same airplane next to each other and start chatting? Community meetup. Yep, that would be cool. Oh, that would be so good. I'd be like, group hug. Group hug. As a non-Kim Kardashian. Yeah. But it's interesting though, because it's like no other time. There's been no other time when the people like us who have the best intentions for the world, right, can get together and like, there's been no other time I can go on and try to elevate anyone. I'm gonna put this in there a little bit longer. How does that song go? That's not it. Here we go.
There was a boy, a very strange enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye.
Bye, Heather.
But very wise.
Don't look at that part of my arm.
Was he? And then one day, a magic day, he passed my way. And while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me.
The bass.
The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
Sorry. Wow. Hey, Erica, thank you, honestly. Thank Thank you, whatever that means to you. Oh, I love it. I love that. Thank you. I've met people that, yes, that I was like, that's my grandma. She came back. Yes.
You never learn
Is just to love
and
be
be
loved.
loved.
Nope.
In return.
See, I should have kept the skin on this. God, he was beautiful. I should have kept the skin on this because this is all going to turn brown. There's no saving yet. I don't want it. I should have kept the skin on it except for the part that I was eating. Kept it attached and just take this part out that I need because the rest of it stays green and nice. Get out of there. Go lay down. Go lay down. No, I don't take it the wrong way. I've had women come into my life that I really thought was my grandmother, come back, reincarnated into my life somehow. Even though, you know, this wasn't a new person, it was new to me. I totally get it, girl. Thank you. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Oh my God, what a gorgeous human being. What a specimen, you know. Just beautiful. All right. I think it's, I don't know, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't even know. Don't tell me it's Thursday. It might be. Should I turn my Printify back on? Do you guys want a coffee mug? You know, I've got a bunch of different products over there. They're so cute. There's even a travel mug. And it's a beautiful, beautiful nature scene. And I'm out in nature sitting in a clawfoot bathtub taking a bath. And I've got a hairdryer in the bathtub with me and like shadows running around and stuff. If you've seen my calendar, you know my sense of humor. You know what my little graphic artwork looks like. And if you haven't seen my calendar, I don't know what you're waiting for. Unless you're afraid of boobies. Nope. I totally get it. My grandma, I felt like that energy is important. You know, I get it. It's like it's divinely part of your life. And it'll come in different forms from different people. That same spark, that same like soul fragment. And you'll know it when you see it. Don't doubt that stuff. You gotta stop doubting your spiritual revelations, guys. I want to send you away with just some quick reminders and recap of what this was about today. Number one, go see what Mary said. Go see what she had to say. She summed it up in like 4 sentences. If you know what Mary said, you don't need to read the Bible. That's all I'm saying. Secondly, if you're struggling and you're not able to stop eating, you're carb craving like crazy, or you're not able to stop drinking, you know, rewind. I do a whole section on that and what it means physiologically. This is something, yes, I was formally educated in physiologically, and I would love if some of you would try what I'm saying and come report back, because it does work, and we need more people to say it works. in the chat when people come on and they're struggling, because we've got to change the mindset. It's just a simple fix. Okay, so there's that. Go get yourself a bunch of fruit is what I said, and the reasons why are physiological, and I go in depth back a little bit in the video. What else? Take your third eye and turn it around and look within. Okay. These live streams, member only, is the best. I like it best. What do you guys think? Because the mods get in, the members get in, and our subs can still watch. And subscribe. What is the forbidden fruit? It's the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So whatever the knowledge of good and evil creates, whatever fruit that bears, is what that is. I'm going to say nervous system dysregulation. That would be the result if you eat from the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The forbidden fruit is consuming like overconsumption beyond awareness of just awareness of all of the shit and evil or good, watching the news basically. If you're watching the news, they're only telling you really the evil, or they're spinning it to be evil. That's the stuff that God said, don't do it. You know, your central nervous system or whatever could create fruits because you're going to know and perceive things, but don't consume them to the point where you're like ruminating. I think it's the fruit, eating of the fruit. It's not the knowledge of good and evil itself. It's eating of the fruit. So what is the fruit? It's not just knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge of good and evil is important. It's when it bears fruit and you consume it that's the problem. Do you see the difference? God didn't say stay away from the tree. God didn't say don't climb the tree. God didn't say don't hug the tree. God said don't eat that fucking fruit. It will bear fruit, don't eat it. What happens to fruit you don't eat? It falls and rots. And maybe makes more, you know, if it's got seeds. So you can know. Right? You can know good and evil. What's what? It's the fruits. I'm guessing, you guys. All right, you guys. We're out of here. Love you. 3773. I'd play those numbers if I was you. 20. 606, 607. Bye-bye.